Let's check your work for part 2. For number 1, I chose the letter A to represent the statement Alexander the Great civilized America, and W to represent the statement Washington was assassinated. Remember that we're always expressing our simple statements as affirmative statements, and then when we need to negate them in our symbolic representations, we can use tilde to do that. There's 2 ways to translate this statement symbolically. One of those ways is tilde A dot tilde W, and the other way is tilde parentheses A wedge W parentheses. Either way works. These are logically equivalent expressions. So now what we can do is fill in the truth values for our simple propositions. Both of these statements are false. Alexander the Great lived more than 2,000 years ago, so it would have been kind of tough for him to civilize America, and Washington wasn't assassinated. So we can indicate that each of our simple statements are false statements and then deduce the truth values. If A and W are both false, then tilde A and tilde W would both have to be true, and that would make the dot true. And over here we have A and W are both false, making the wedge false. And this tilde operates on the wedge and has its opposite truth value, indicating that the statement is true. Number 2, I used C to represent Custer was killed by the Indians, N to represent the statement Nixon resigned the presidency, and E, Edison invented the telephone. You want to cross-check to make if you use different letters so that you can follow here. All right, so we fill in our letters. It is true, or we fill in our truth values for our statement letters. It is true that Custer was killed by Native Americans, and it's also true that Nixon resigned the presidency. But it's false that Edison invented the telephone. That was Alexander Graham Bell. And because this side of the dot is false, that makes the whole dot false. Okay, then we can come over here, and if C is true, tilde C has got to be false. And now look what we have. We have false values on both sides of this wedge, making the wedge false. All right, I use C for Custer was killed by the Indians, L for Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address, W for Washington was assassinated, and A for Alexander the Great civilized America. And we can start to fill in our truth values. Yes, Custer was killed by Native Americans. Yes, Lincoln wrote the Gettysburg Address. That is true. No, it's false that Washington was assassinated, and it's false that Alexander the Great civilized America. So now we can fill in the rest of our truth values. This wedge over here is false, but this dot over here is true. And what does that make this horseshoe? False.